Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Kevin Coffey, who's the founder and CEO of Complete Spectrum Financial Services. Kevin, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Mike, for having me on.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm excited to learn about a unique fundraiser that you guys do. But before we get into that, give us a little bit of background on yourself, what your entrepreneurial journey has been like to this point in your career, and then what Complete Spectrum does in serving your clients.
Well, I actually joined the industry, got involved in the industry in 1991. And like technology has changed, so has the financial service industry products. So I've seen a lot of changes in the financial service industry world. It's been a great journey.
And I would suspect, I know way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was in the mortgage industry, and I know things change in financial services, change in mortgage, change in real estate. And so that means you've got to stay up on that, whether it's regulatory change or just changes in how things impact your clients. So one of the big things that I think that ties into change is education. You know, if you think about the IRS tax code of how many hundreds and hundreds of pages that tax code is, none of us read that. We have to rely on a tax professional to help us guide through there. So talk a little bit about what Complete Spectrum does to help educate your clients. And then let's jump right in from there and talk about your unique fundraiser program that you have.
Well, oddly enough, I got in the industry through free training programs. And what got me into the industry is these free classes that a company offered once a week. And I went to these free classes trying to learn how to better manage my own money. And in 1991, decided to actually join the industry. So financial literacy is a big part of what we do. You know, there's a lot of people out there. Our world is busy being a mom, dad, parent, at work. We don't make time to learn about how to better manage our finances. People spend more time planning a vacation than they do about learning about money. So we have created a way that we can get back to the community and educate people about how to better manage their money through what we call our donation program / fundraiser.
Yeah, I think that is so unique because too many times, I feel like if I need to find something out, I go Google it. Well, there's a lot of financial education online, but yet there's still that era of being confused or how does it apply to me? So when you can come to an educational program and kind of learn in a small environment, that you tend to understand and learn a whole lot quicker. So at what point did you as a company start thinking, I'm going to educate our clients because they need to understand financial topics? And then at what point did you think this would be a really good way to generate donations as a fundraiser to organizations?
Well, about 8 years ago, we realized that people just weren't getting educated. And we also realized that the normal fundraisers or the traditional fundraisers were selling chocolate and candies and products and going door to door. Then you got to stock the inventory. Then you got to sell it. Then somebody's going to lose the inventory. Then you have to pay for it. Then you have a bunch of time that's involved. And we said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we educated schools, churches, other organizations in Colorado, and then gave them a donation along with them being educated. And we came up with what we call our donation program, which we donated, by the way, over 300,000 to school, churches, sports teams, and other Colorado-based organizations.
So this is more than just like a cool idea. Let's start doing it. If you've donated over 300,000 over the years, this is a tried and true model that is being well accepted.
Absolutely. Along the way, we helped a lot of families reach their retirement goals.
Well, I think the aspect that you just mentioned, which is being unique, when I hear about a fundraiser or, let's talk about a donation program. My kids are all, almost all of them out of high school and in college now, but I remember the days of they would bring home the piece of paper with, world's finest and butter braids, and nothing wrong with those things. But I think that the word unique really is exciting because it's different and new. And I think that you will get a lot more of the parents excited to join in on something that's not something that they do every few months for several of their kids. It could get old, right? So what has the receptivity been like for both the organization as well as the parents going, you know what, that sounds really interesting. Tell us more.
Now, people love our donation program. Because we ask the organization to do a little PR on their part.
Yeah.
But then we write them a check and we actually make a donation to the organization. People love it. It's a way for them to learn about how to better manage their money while we get back to the communities and schools as well. So it's a win-win situation for both our company and the organizations that we do our fundraisers with.
And when you say they've got to do a little bit of work, it doesn't sound like it's a lot of work that would be something they would not already be doing. So for instance, organizations or schools, they already communicate to their audience. It's just that now this is another unique way that they can communicate in a caring fashion in reality, because it's not, hey, send this email out and put this buy now link, and then we're going to hope that people put in their credit card. It's nothing like that at all. It is an invitation to learn, really learn about financial literacy. And that, to me, that's, again, something they're already doing and something that they would want to have done.
Absolutely. It is by far the easiest fundraiser an organization will ever do. Let me put it to you this way. In less than 1 hour, we can donate up to $5,000 to organization.
Wow. And in a really unique fashion. So now when you think about, or when I hear you saying donation and easy, how do you decide who you work with? Or if someone is listening to this, how would they be able to connect with you to say, you know what, this sounds really interesting, and I want to kind of dig in a little bit more about, some of the specifics and some of your community involvement. But how do you decide who do you work with? Because you obviously could not do this 10 times a day, 7 days a week. So there's limitations. How does Complete Spectrum decide who they're going to work with?
Well, actually, we can donate. That's a great question. We could donate to both nonprofit and profit organizations in Colorado. And we basically look at the organization and we believe in what they do. In other words, help create a better world for all of us and future generations. And then we're probably going to end up doing our fundraiser/donation program with that organization.
And when you say that, the organization needs to do a little bit of PR promo work, is that something that you help them with? Because I would suspect that if you just said, get the word out, they would kind of scratch their head and say how, but do you have some templates or some guidance that way for them?
Absolutely. We take the organization from A to Z. We make it as simple as possible. We create the PR pieces for the organization. We try to put little time and effort into this as possible because, like you said, people don't have the time, money, or resources to do the traditional fundraisers. I mean, when somebody comes home from school or they hear the word fundraiser, they run or shut down their computer. Yep. Because people just are probably burned out on the traditional fundraising things that are out there today.
Yeah. And, when you've mentioned financial topics like financial literacy, I'm sure that there are 15, 20, 30, 40 different bullet points that you can envision in your mind of, everything to do with financial literacy. What type of topics do you have? Several topics that you would be able to bring to their audience? Does the organization have some choice in what you would bring to teach their audience about?
Absolutely. So we have programs that will help people reduce taxes now and in the future, possibly even eliminate taxes down the road. Another subject that we help people with is how to increase their retirement income by 25% without taking on more market risk. There's different programs. We teach high school students and their parents how to get more free money from the government, state, or from the universities by just lowering their EFC score. And then, of course, there's the para seminars where we're helping teachers understand how to maximize their para and how that plays with Social Security. And then we have another way that we can help people time when they time their Social Security and what strategies they use, because there's over 181 different Social Security strategies. So we have so many different topics where we can help people. That's what I enjoy about what we do, because there's not a specific topic that we focus on. We market all the different services. Therefore, we can help everybody, no matter what age group or what their finances look like. Everybody is someone that we can help.
One of the ones that jumped out at me, because I like when I hear overviews of things, I like to think through the lens of everyone's favorite radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? Right. You think about, well, why am I going to show up to this? Well, you could learn some of these things. Or what about an organization? Well, why should I entertain this donation program? Because it's different, it's unique. Well, what's in it for Complete Spectrum is when you think about like the para and the teacher, and one of the seminars is you can teach the teachers how to maximize and optimize their para. But if I'm hearing you correctly, that's not anything that benefits you guys. That's just good information, because a para is a retirement program. And when they maximize that doesn't help Complete Spectrum. That is a service to these teachers, and you're providing good information. So people that would come to that one don't have to feel like, well, what are you selling me? Well, there's nothing to sell.
Exactly. They leave one of our educational programs knowing that they have learned something, that they feel more empowered because they've learned how to better manage their finances. And I'll tell you, another area is people that have the paras or pensions, they don't understand how their Social Security would be impacted. So that's another specialized area. So like I mentioned, there's so many different ways that we help people. But the key is we can help people and then still get back to the community where it's a win-win situation.
And how does the actual donation arrive to the organization? So I think that's something where it's like, hey, well, we'll do this, and 9 months later we'll see if it. But is there a process there, and how does the organization kind of get some good turnaround? And you said they can generate a certain amount of money in a short period of time, but does that money come in, in a week or 2 weeks or a month, or how does that actually work logistically?
After they meet the guidelines of what we recommend that they do PR wise for a firm, they actually get the check donated to them within 2 weeks of after our fundraiser is completed. So it's very easy. It's a great way to raise. And many organizations will fundraise us with our firm many times a year because it is so easy.
Well, I was thinking too of all those topics. They might look at this whole, almost like a bullet list of topics and go, well, I want this one and that one. This one, not so much, but they might have 4, 5, 6 different topics that they might want to say, let's see how the first one goes. But if it goes well, we might want to have you come back for like a series, like every other month or every quarter, and bring this kind of information to our people, which of course, if that benefits them with donations, then that everyone wins. So I would venture to say that because you've got such a broad list of educational topics, that would be well received.
It really is.
And what about, you mentioned the community? Is there other things you do for the community? What is some of the feedback that some of the attendees are telling you? And is there other things that's related to the community that this program is able to tie in?
Well, a lot of people leave the workshop saying this is some of the things they learned, the nugget or two that they get from it is some of the best well-kept secrets away from the general community. A lot of the wealthy people are doing these strategies. The problem is the average and ordinary person never has makes the time or the resources to go hire and pay for an investment advisor.
Yeah.
So they don't know that a lot of these strategies are available to them. I mean, literally, we've had clients where we've made hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference in their finances just through some simple strategies or different ways that they're managing their finances.
And I would also, I'm just trying to put myself in the position of an attendee, where if, sometimes people might hesitate, we'll call our office and just find out more. And they might hesitate and go, well, but I don't know that I'm ready to make a decision or of taking action. But these seminars that you're doing, there's no pressure, and there's no, so you can feel comfortable coming to them because you're going to be learning. And I think that helps people to understand that there's no barriers there, and it's just a pure learning experience. And then, of course, if there's more questions, you're there and available. But I think that's a big thing too, is that people need to realize this is not a big sales pitch.
Absolutely. Our fundraising, the way we fundraise, no one's required to buy, sell, or stock products. It's an educational approach, not a sales approach. And that makes us unique. People are just there. They don't have the time or energy to go through, like I mentioned earlier, the typical fundraising process.
Yep.
This is where else can you go? Let's just think about if you're a coach and you're fundraising for your team, where else can you go with very little effort, spend less than 1 hour, have your parents after the PR we've done with our firm, they come and say that was probably the best 1 hour we spent. And then you get a check. I mean, it is the only fundraiser I know of where nobody buys anything. People get a great financial service education, and the organization gets a donation. I mean, how better can it get, right?
100%. And most of the time, you have to think about it, logistically, that money transacts from, let's say, the attendee to buy the widget that goes to the organization, and then they give. That's where they get the money from. But the people that come to a workshop, they're not transacting business. They're not giving money. This is all you doing the donation on their behalf. And then when their attendee, when their audience leaves with rave comments saying, thank you for, bringing this to us, and thanking you for bringing this information, it's creating donations without having, commerce or business transactions. So to me, that's another layer of this being a very unique offering, because there's no product that has to sell in order for the donation to happen.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, give us a couple examples here as we wrap up of types of organizations that you work with. You've mentioned schools and churches, but are there specific things that those organizations are looking for? Like you mentioned, like a sports team, or is it something where maybe the sports team of a school doesn't have the budget? They're out of budget for the year, but yet they still need this. And here comes this fundraiser, and now they're able to do it. So have you had some of that feedback over the years?
Absolutely. We've helped so many organizations by donating money to them, from schools to PTO groups, churches, like I mentioned, sports teams, to fraternal groups, alumni groups. Like mentioned earlier, if it's an organization we believe in that they are helping people, we're probably going to work that organization to see how we can donate money to them while still growing our business as well, of course.
Yeah. Neat. Well, Kevin, it's a real pleasure talking with you about this unique donation fundraiser program. If someone is interested in learning more, what's the best way they can reach out to you at Complete Spectrum?
Well, they can call our office at 303-922-4309, or they can visit our website at www.complete-spectrum.com.
Excellent. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was a real pleasure talking with you about this program.
Thank you, Mr. Saunders. Have a wonderful day.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.